The Icons of Real Estate Podcast. Are you ready to learn the proven money-making secrets from top-producing icon agents? Ready to skyrocket your business? This podcast is for you. Tune in every week with your host, Tomasz Fonseca, and find out how to implement proven strategies to 10 times your business, from $3 million to $30 million in just 12 months. Brought to you by the Masters in Real Estate Marketing, Arter SEO.
Welcome to the #1 real estate podcast network and the Icons of Real Estate podcast. I'm your host, Kat Timpson. Today, my guest is the one and the only Nadira Taylor. Nadira is a founder of Diamond Mine Real Estate in Jamaica, New York, and she brings over 19 years of experience in the real estate industry with expertise in property management, compliance, asset management. Nadira's mission right now is to offer affordable housing, create job opportunities, and build generational wealth for communities. So welcome, Nadira. Thank you so much for spending time with Icons of Real Estate. We love having you. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah, we love it. So I was telling Nadira that I'm a native New Yorker, so I'm so grateful to talk to another New Yorker, and I'm super curious about how you got your start in New York real estate.
Sure. So my first introduction to New York real estate was, I was 21 years old. And it's funny, I worked for like one of the giants, one of the Fortune 500 companies who are like dominating in property management. And my background is computer science. And it's so funny. I entered into the company through computers. And the first time, back then you had to take the computers apart, put them back together.
I didn't. You did.
Yes. And I had so many more screws left over that my boss was looking at me like, what is going on? So at the first sign that I was able to transfer into the company, that's exactly what I did. And then I went into the other like actual real estate section of the company. So that was my introduction at 21.
That's cool. Well, so does that make you very techie in how you handle your real estate? I'm actually very curious about that because not everybody is.
Actually, it does. So I'm very big on SOPs and CRAs and
make sure all the audience knows exactly what those fabulous acronyms are, will you?
Sure. So I'm very big on system of processes, anything that can streamline the business and help either my agents or my property managers work a lot smarter and not harder. We definitely put everything at our fingertips. So the techie part definitely helped out.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. So will you tell the audience a little bit about what basically the scope of your business is in terms of maybe units or, what all you do in terms of the different businesses? And then I would love to go back and hear some of the ways you use tech specifically in your marketing.
Sure. So we have a brokerage firm. We're licensed currently in New York and Georgia. We're in the process of obtaining licenses in other states. We're also a property management firm in New York City, Nassau, and Suffolk counties. We manage over 100 units, and we're constantly competing to obtain other units. We also own a building as well. And we also have our construction license. We're licensed in Nassau, Suffolk counties, and also New York City. So we do affordability across the platform.
That is a lot of people. How many agents do you have, out of curiosity?
Sure. In New York, we currently have 10, and in Georgia, we have 2.
Oh, nice team. That's awesome. And how are you guys doing? Do you have a particular volume, or is because it's different businesses, do you look at it differently?
So when it comes to the brokerage firm, we have a heavy volume because we're known for helping families and individuals purchase through affordability programs. We get a lot of people in. As far as the property management, like I said, we currently have over 100 units. That's about 5 buildings. And we also deal with that with affordability programs as well. Like we specialize in rent stabilization, rent controlled, low income housing tax credit buildings, senior citizen buildings, HUD buildings as well. And then with construction, we noticed 3 years ago, as I am selling the properties, construction is so unaffordable for people. And when you're purchasing properties, the houses that are affordable need at least 25,000 plus in work, right? So something that we know for a fact can just cost 25,000 for someone to fix started costing 40,000 and 50,000 because a lot of contractors price gouge. So what we did was I said, you know what? I have a fix for that. My husband, who's local 79, very handy with construction, we put together a construction team.
I love that. You're like, the system's broke. I can fix it. I'm gonna. That's awesome.
Exactly.
That's awesome. So with all of that, I'm really interested when you market to different people, obviously, for different needs. What does
Yes.
that look like? And also, well, let's go that. I'd love to hear like how do you let people know all the different things that you're doing?
So we have different platforms on Instagram and Facebook. However, when it comes to the brokerage firm, I've been on other podcasts and I have a huge platform just letting people know that, this is what we do. We will help you find an affordability program that works best for you. And right now, we currently utilize three of them the most. We have one that pays your closing costs, your attorney fees, and your appraisal fees. We have another one that gives you a $30,000 grant and also a reduction of 2 points like on your interest rate. So as of right now, the interest rate is 6%. They're giving out 4% interest rates. And then we have a third one who works the same way. And then if you open up an account with them, they give you a quarter of a point lower on your interest rate. So right now, we were able to identify three, but we're currently always in the market looking for others. I network a lot. I reach out to a lot of lenders like, hey, did you tap into your CRA program? Are you doing affordable housing? We have so many buyers in. Let me know how we can work together.
This is so interesting because a lot of the agents that I know, and certainly I work in New Jersey, so we do a lot of suburban residential commercial work, and it's very different, right? We don't have those aspects of it. But how have you managed to be in the greatest city in the world, as far as I'm concerned, and you too? And how have you managed to be in that great city and really stand apart from other agents, much less agents across the country?
So, as an agent yourself, I'm sure that you see that when people open up social media, everyone is pushing these luxury homes and, you have to purchase $1 million house and look at this kitchen. However, like how many people can actually afford that, right? So, what I said to myself, I'm not going to compete with those agents because I do know that there's a need for it. I grew up in Jamaica, Queens. I know that there's a need for affordable housing. So, you know what? Everyone, you guys can have that. Pull up in your nice Bentley to this nice house. That's yours. This is what my niche is going to be. And I just honed in on it and focused on it. Even my background in real estate, whether it's property management, I've held titles as director of compliance, asset manager. I've always dealt with affordable housing when it comes to rent stabilization. So I know that there's an actual need for it. And I just say, you know what? I'm just going to run full force ahead with this. And anyone who wants to jump on the affordable housing bandwagon, they could catch up later. But this is what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like one of the things we're always challenged by with the bigger audience of consumers is that theory that real estate agents are only doing this for themselves. They're trying to line their pockets. Yours is clearly a work and business of passion as well as business. And how do you negotiate that in terms of when you want to help a client, but maybe they're having a financial struggle, but you want to help them, they're financially strapped, and yet there can be a better option. Like, what does that look like?
So we also hold seminars. I used to do monthly webinars, but I do coach buyers into, I say, listen, there are programs for you. However, nothing in life is free, right? But if someone gives you a free house, you should run away from it anyway. You do have to save your money. You do have to pay your bills. And be comfortable with the fact that you may not get a house in 2024, but 2025 and 2026 are also great times to buy houses. And people will buy houses in those markets. But let's get you together first. Let's get your bills and everything together first so that this way, when you purchase a house, you're not house rich and cash poor. You want to be able to purchase a house, still go on vacation, still do things for your children, your spouse, and pretty much live your life, or else you will grow to hate this house because it's pulling all of your finances. And once I get someone comfortable with this might not be the time for them to purchase, I always win them over, and they may purchase 6 months, a year from now, but they always make the purchase.
Yeah, this is decidedly demonstrating that you are in it for the relationship
Yeah.
and not just the short term. So I can appreciate that your clients must be really, really grateful for that. And actually, I'm very curious. You've been in the business for 2 decades, which is so impressive. Thank you for the work.
Thank you.
What might you see with homeowners and home buyers from the beginning of your career to now? Is there a big difference? And have you had to give them maybe more of this hand holding or more of this long-term relationship?
I don't really think that there's a big difference. So even when I first started with the sales, which was about a little over 8 years ago, of course, the price of the houses were a lot lower. However, people didn't save as much then. What I am noticing now after COVID, people are saving a lot more money. There's a lot more opportunities, whether people have side hustles or they've decided to take on a second job. So I am noticing that there are more savings now, which can help them purchase houses at a much larger amount, right? But I think what buyers need to realize is that they're always competing against each other. They're always competing with their friends' houses, or they're competing with their friends' loans. I get that a lot. Like I get a lot of people who are like, well, you know what? I had someone purchase during COVID where the interest rates are 1% and 2%. Well, guess what? COVID's over. Unless you want to walk around in mask again, this is where we're at now. And then I also have those, well, you know what? A friend of mine's purchased a house in 2010. Well, the market crashed then. So people were pretty much giving them away, along with furniture and everything else. You're purchasing in this market, and this is what is available to you. So once I manage my clients' expectations, it makes it a lot easier to move forward. But I also tell people, listen, your friend's house is your friend's house. Let's get you a house that you are comfortable with. And one of the things that I do, definitely give me 10 things that you must have in a house, but I also need 4 things that you can live without, because there is no perfect house. You have to purchase the house and make the house perfect for you.
Simpatico. I do that with my clients too. I always say to them, it's like the 3 you must have, and the 3 you kind of want, and the 3 you can live without, right? Same idea, because there's no perfect house, even when people build them. But I
Exactly.
appreciate that you really sound very, very honest with your clients. And I really appreciate that from the perspective of an agent. I imagine you've had repeat clients and repeat customers. How has that helped your business?
Well, it's almost a gift and a curse. A lot of people love the honesty, even if I am managing the expectations, and they may not like what it is that I am telling them, but I can say at least 80 to 85%, they love the honesty. The other 15%, the people who want you to tell them what they want to hear, then those are not my clients. So that has actually helped my business a lot, to where people are seeking out the company. And this is how I also train my agents, because the bottom line is their bottom line. They want something that they love, but they also want something that they can afford. They don't want something that they're going to lose, in year 1 or year 2. So they seek us out for the honesty. And then one of the things that I do as well is that when clients come in, they're more so coming in to work with Diamond Mind, the company. And what I do is we do Zooms with them before we actually assign them to an agent, and we match the client with our agent's personality.
Oh, I love
So
that.
yeah, so for example, I'm very busy. I still show houses, even though I'm running the 3 companies. I don't show the way that I used to. However, I'll tell my client from the beginning, listen, I'm not the agent that stands outside, talk about the drapes and the carpet and things like that. I'm very technical. I'll tell you what your numbers are. I'll tell you how much money you need to purchase this house. I'm walking around the house more so with my inspection hat on, so that this way, if this is the house that you're going to put an offer on, you already know what's ahead of you. However, if you are the type that after we see a house, you would like to talk about your kids, you want to talk about your pets, you want to talk about what you didn't like in a house, I have about 4 agents who you would love, and they would love to do. And it's to the point now where I have some clients who are like, you know what? My friend bought a house through you. I'm technical like you. I'm very busy. Just take me to go see the houses. You're my agent. And then I've also had people like, you know what? I do like to talk. So if you can assign me to someone who matches my personality, I'm positive that my relationship with Diamond Mine and my process will probably go a lot smoother because I like to talk things out.
This is such a smart process because you're really giving people, I mean, handheld service, but also matching who they are is the best way to be in a relationship with someone. And speaking of that, you have so much knowledge. It sounds like, from what we were talking about before, that you've actually put pen to paper about that. You want to tell us about what's going on with that?
Sure. So what I've done is I've taken my experience and I write everything down. And once I jot it down, write it down, I tend to turn that into a process. And I've actually written down, okay, so what we need to do first is item A. Once we do item A, then we have to do 1 through 4. And then we do item B. And then once we do item B, we have to do 1 through 4. And that actually makes everything a lot simpler. And I've learned this by managing properties, I've learned this by managing assets, and it leaves very little room for error. And it also allows for, as I take on new agents, for them to pretty much rinse and repeat. If you follow these steps, you'll be successful. And dealing with compliance, there's always a loophole, right? So since there's always a loophole, what we do during our monthly meetings is, okay, so I see what your pain points are as an agent, and this is what I feel you should do in order to maximize your brand. Because at the end of the day, yes, you do work for Diamond Mine Real Estate. However, you have your own brand, and we need to focus on you as an agent and your brand so that you can be successful. And that then trickles down to Diamond Mine Real Estate.
That's
So I write
so
everything down.
impressive. No, that's so impressive and so helpful for people to understand more. And these pearly words of wisdom, are they now down somewhere that people can access them?
Yes, they are. So, as you mentioned earlier, I'm definitely big on tech. And what we do throughout all of our platforms, we use Inform. That's one word, two N's. Again, it's a platform I can post videos, I can post documents, just pretty much detailing and outlining what Diamond Mine Real Estate is about, what we do, helpful hints. I take videos, whether I see them on YouTube, whether I produce them myself and I upload it. The agents are able to take little quizzes. I can monitor to see who's actually going on. And one of the things that I always like to tell my agents is that even though we live in a microwave society, I would never train you through the microwave. So if you are a part-time agent, you are required to come to the office once a month. If you are a full-time agent, you have to come at least once a week so that this way you guys can also bounce ideas off of each other. And in order for you to send me a text asking me a question, I need to see that you are also training yourself because everyone learns at different speeds, right? So if I do it this way, the agents can go on and they can learn at their own speed. They can watch the videos as many times as they want because sometimes people are scared to ask the same question 5 times, right?
Yeah.
But they need the answer. And some people just learn better that way. So I have that. We do that for the property managers and the assistant property managers. We have what is called a building book for the properties that we manage, and everything is in there. And it's also at the tip of their fingertips. We use Monday.com where we are able to upload documents. They are able to pull tenant information. The agents are able to pull their information. As soon as we do a Zoom and we assign it to an agent, it goes into Monday. We click the agent and the client gets an email introducing the two of them. It's amazing. And then what we do is we tell the agents, you have 24 hours to give the client a call, introduce yourself, find out what their needs and wants are. but everything is already in Monday. They can just open it up. Their pre-approvals in there. Everything is already in there.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry.
lastly, we use DoorLoop,
Oh,
which is
cool.
a which is a property management system. And when there's maintenance requests, they pay. We can actually talk to the tenants via text message, email, make announcements, and everything through DoorLoop and Architect for construction. So we're very like tech heavy here.
Tech heavy is amazing, but also I just want to note for everybody who's listening that this is such a good marriage of the tech opportunities that are out there for real estate. But also, if you guys have heard the way Nadira was saying, this really helps develop relationships. It really makes it easier for the people to connect because now the communication is very obvious and
Yes.
they're very aware of what's going on, and everybody's so organized, which is incredible and makes, I'm sure, the process of what is a very challenging time, which is buying and selling a home, a little bit easier, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So also I heard that you're an author.
Yes, I am.
What have you written?
So I have a book called Dream Catch Hustle, and it describes how to scale your,
Dream, Catch, Hustle, right?
yes,
By
yes,
Nadira
Taylor.
Taylor. We got it.
Yes.
We got it. It's out there.
Thank you. And what that does is it helps you scale your business flawlessly. We're at a time where social media is our best friend, right? In order to get new clients, we have to go on Instagram, TikTok, and just post our success stories, the information that we have in order to generate more income. However, what I noticed with the other agents or even other property management companies and construction companies, or just entrepreneurship in a whole, everyone always posts the new shoes, the new car, and the new bag. However, no one posts their failures. No one will tell you how many nights they stayed up, crying, or, even in my case, I remember putting everything together, and sometimes I was on the computer until my eyes just shut off, right? And no one tells that story. And I hear so many people and they're crying, and I don't understand why this isn't working for me. And it is going to work for you. You just have to keep trying. And there's so many myths. And we find this in home ownership, where we'll have an entrepreneur who may make $200,000, but someone told them, oh, if you write everything off and you only gross 30, you don't have to pay Uncle Sam that much. Well, guess what? You won't be able to purchase a house either. And in most cases, a car or anything else, and your business won't be able to get financing. You have to do accurate reporting. So it's so many things like this that are going on. And, if you get an LLC on Wednesday, you can have all of this by Sunday. And And that is so not true. So the book is to hold people's hands, as which I do,
Yeah.
and just let them know, this is what you have to do. And one of the questions that I always ask a new entrepreneur is, what is your end game?
Mm.
You
Yeah.
cannot move in entrepreneurship without realizing, how do you want to end this? Are you building a company that you can sell? Are you building a company for your family? Would you much rather be a solopreneur? Because if you are building a company for your family, is this something that your children want to do? I have two daughters. Only one of them really wants to do real estate. The other one does not. So how am I building a company for two daughters when there's only a position, only one of them want to do it? So these are things that you have to ask yourself, what is my end game? And your end game will dictate how do you start and everything that goes in between. And a lot of people don't ask themselves that. And that's why sometimes businesses fail or families fail because, they're thinking that this is something that their family wants to do with them.
Right. And it sounds to me like another word might be goals, really thinking
Right.
about what your goals are and how you're going to achieve them. That
Yes.
is so helpful to the marketplace. And I cannot stress it enough. We will put that book in the show notes. That is
Thank you.
hugely important. And thank you for doing that from a woman's perspective. I actually, I coach as well as do podcasting and agency work.
Nice.
And I had a coachee who wanted to know some more information about sales. And I said, let me look at some books and let me find some. And there were almost not for books about sales written by women. So business and women have not been as active in the industry, the literature, the publishing companies. And so thank you for that. And I'll make sure that people get to that.
Thank you.
In speaking of goals, I would love to hear what's next for Nadira Taylor. You've been going great guns. You've been really um, going ahead with 3 different companies. What are your goals coming up?
I would say my 5-year plan is to do 100 million a year in transactions. And that is across the 3 platforms. We are constantly building up the brokerage firm. We plan to get licensed in New Jersey, Alabama, Mississippi, because there's great opportunities in the states in the South. When it comes to property management, we will purchase more buildings and also continue to seek after more buildings and just grow the construction on a commercial level and start doing development. But our ultimate goal and initiative for 2025 is to help individuals and family go from homelessness to renter to homeowner.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you for that. That's literally what everybody in real estate's goals should be, to get people happily in housing. That's amazing. Well, I have enjoyed this, and thank you so much for giving this great information. We're wrapping it up, but I'd really love to tell everybody who's watching, what is the best way for them to get to you if they'd like to be a client, if they'd like to come work with you, or if they just like to know more about Diamond Mine Realty?
Sure. So you can always call the office at 516-292-4300. You can follow us on Instagram and Facebook, Diamond like the stone, Diamond, Mine, Minere. That's one word. And that's again on Instagram and Facebook. We're also on LinkedIn, and the webpage is diamondminere.com.
That's great. We will have all of that in the show notes. So listen, you guys, if you have more questions about an amazing, amazing agent in New York doing about 5 different things with 3 different companies who've got their pulse on what's going on in the affordable housing area of New York, then Nadira is the person to go to. Listen, this has been another great episode of the Icons of Real Estate podcast. I just want to thank my guest, Nadira Taylor. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I was super excited to join. This has been amazing, and I'm definitely going to tell everyone to tune in.
Great. We love that. And I was just going to say, if you who's watching enjoyed the episode, please like, share it with your friends, family, and colleagues. From our studio to your success, I'm Kat Timpson. Thanks for being with us.